Welcome to Lloydminster, built by oilmen, farmers, and ranchers. This is Canada's only border town. The deep Western heritage and old-time prosperity have made this city a home to some amazing musicians and songwriters that will be joining me for Songs and Stories with Caroline Parke. Lloydminster's greatest Fourth Meridian Brewing Company will play host as we spend time learning the real stories behind the songs, followed by raw, unfiltered acoustic performances. I hope you enjoy this rare look at the lives of songwriters. Hey there, and welcome to Songs and Stories with Caroline Parke. I am your host, Caroline Parke, and we are here at the Fourth Meridian Brewing Company in Lloydminster, Alberta. I will be interviewing a variety of songwriters this series, and the first one I'm going to interview for you guys is one of my favorites. Justin Swanson and I met online when one of my songs was on the Canadian Indie Country Countdown, and we got in touch, and we've been kind of songwriting buddies ever since. So Justin, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for volunteering to be my cameraman.
Oh, absolutely. I'm happy to help out wherever I can.
Yeah, it's really great. So, how long have you been writing for?
I actually don't know for sure. Probably since about 24, 25 years old, something like that. Got into it a little later than some.
Wow, cool. Okay, I started playing guitar when I was 24.
Oh, there you go.
So, but I didn't start writing right away, anyhow.
As long as you start, I think, is the most important thing.
Isn't it? Yeah. I think people really hesitate. I've heard that there's a thing called an internal editor. Have you ever heard of that?
I don't think I got one of those.
I don't either. And I think that's why I've had so much I would call success, right? And being able to write so many songs is because I don't really critique myself along the way.
Perfect.
Helpful. But I have been exposed to lots of people at these jam camps I go to. They talk about it and how they almost want to write something and then they stop. And then when you stop creating, you just stop creating, right?
Yeah.
So.
I mean, you write music for yourself, but other people get to decide. It's all open to interpretation, poetic license.
Yeah, like once you put it out there, you don't really own it anymore, right?
Not in someone else's mind. They can think whatever they want of it.
Yeah.
So do it all.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, what are your songs inspired by?
The two I'm going to play for you. The first one's called A Record Low Lane. And I had a friend who said that she was at rock bottom. And what do you say to that? Oh, I hope you get better. Nobody wants to hear that. It's pretty empty. Mm-hmm. And in an attempt to make somebody feel better, I said, well, if you're in rock bottom, swing on by. I got a house there. It's on Record Low Lane. And he was like, ooh, there's a song in that.
You just said those words?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 6-pack later, had a tune.
Oh, brother.
And so, that one's all about the house I have in the town of Rock Bottom on Record Low Lane. The other song is doesn't really have a title just yet. I think it's gonna be called I Can't Wait to See My Baby, and it's all about when I was working northern British Columbia, just south of Alaska, at a gold and copper mine. And 14-day shift. By day 10, everybody's pretty owly,
cranky.
Yeah, wanting to get home. And it was pretty common to just start lighting the boss up over anything. And paychecks weren't, missing a few bucks. And
they weren't, or they were?
Oh, they were, yeah. There was a little bit of short here and there, whether there was or not, or somebody slept in, but people complain, nothing else to do other than work and complain for some of those
dicey,
people.
Right?
It's a very, very disparaging group to be around to some degree. But I came out of it with the song. None of the song is true. It's all made up except for the part where I was at a mine working. We'll get to the tune and you'll understand what I mean when I play it for you here a bit later. But yeah, both those tunes were just kind of out of the blue. I was sitting in a piece of equipment on a stand down, sat in that thing for 6 hours and wrote the tune. Just nothing else to do other than stare at the mountains and sit and wait for things to clear up.
Oh, boy.
So, but that's a good way to kill time. I actually got a few good songs out of the mine days for sure. But
I really love how dynamic music is because it can be inspired by real life, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. But like I have written like completely fictional tunes, but you know they come from somewhere authentic, essentially, right? But yeah, it's nice. It's fun to dream, and just sometimes I would do that and just take a day and just dream, and a tune would write itself almost, right? And then people say, where did that come from? And I say, well, I really have no idea, but it's great, hey?
absolutely, that's a good way to get things out of your head too.
Yeah, kind of digest.
Definitely wrote a couple that shouldn't have been shared, but
Yeah.
you know, you gotta have fun with it too.
Yeah, I have a few songs that are like, I would say on the negative side, but I've written more and chucked them.
Yeah,
Like I kind of like look at the lyrics and I look at the feel and I think the world doesn't need more songs like that.
no,
We have enough songs about dogs dying and divorces and whatever, right?
but it's therapeutic.
It is therapeutic. Yeah, that's how it started out for me, because I was involved in like a rural farm attack, and it took me a year. Like I had what they would call a brain trauma. I had PTSD, like textbook PTSD and anxiety and paranoia, which I can see now in hindsight. People were like, "You're paranoid," but I was like, "I have every reason to be."
Yeah,
you know.
well,
and then that's why I got into songwriting.
playing guitar and writing lyrics is probably cheaper than a psychiatrist, I would imagine.
You know what? I did find a talk therapist, and she said what I was doing, writing songs, was more effective than talk therapy, than medication, than anything. Just processing your emotions and expressing yourself, and then being, the other side of it is being heard. And I just thought that's really interesting. So if I stop my talk therapy at X number of dollars an hour, maybe I could put that into recording an album. And so I did. I negotiated with my partner and said, you know, this is my therapy. And that's how I kind of got my first album off the ground.
And so how many albums do you have now?
7.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm a serial songwriter.
Can you tell us about the songs you're going to play for this one?
Yeah, so I can. The first song I'm going to play for everybody is called Days Gone By. And it's my first, effectively, it's my first co-write that I did. And so I had this idea, because I was raised in town, but I moved to the farm in 2012. And we have these conversations in the living room on Sundays. It's very traditional. We go back to grandma's house for family dinner on Sundays. And in the living room, we solve all the world's problems, and we talk politics, and we talk everything. And so I said to Grandpa one day, I said, I have this song I want to write about the decline of the rural population, because we would drive down the country roads and he'd say, oh, this quarter section used to belong to so-and-so, and this quarter section, you know, these were all farms. They were little farms with little families, and then there were little schoolhouses. And then eventually all the little schoolhouses closed, and then they went to a big schoolhouse. And that schoolhouse closed in 2011, unfortunately for me. And so I have 4 kids. But anyhow, Grandpa says, he just comes up with all these kind of quotes, and it kind of stuck with me. And I thought, you know, we used to have a school, we used to have a store. They're both closed. Now we only have the community hall and a set of mailboxes. That's essentially what my town is. My town. I think we lost our hamlet status, actually, which is pretty, and I don't even live there. I live outside of there, right? So anyhow, I wrote this song about the decline of the rural population and the increase in the cities. And so I wrote the first verse and the chorus, and then I sent him an audio clip. And then he texted me back audio clip, which I didn't even know Grandpas knew how to do that. And he wrote another verse, and I said, well, hey, that's pretty good. Can I use that? And he said, absolutely. And then I got another text from him like at 1 o'clock in the morning. So he must have been sitting in his grandpa chair, mulling over. And he's like a real cowboy, right? He said he learned how to sing on an open cab tractor when he was 12 years old. They just put him in the field and told him to go. I don't know what he was, Diskener or whatever. And he said there was no radio, and you're there for hours and hours alone, and unsupervised, no cell phone. So anyhow, he can come up with some tongue twisters and some catchy phrases too, which I know he wasn't planning, but so the last two verses he wrote.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so when I recorded them, I had him sing a couple tracks, and then they put him on backup vocals in the recording.
Oh, well, that's sweet.
Super, super meaningful, right? Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So it's kind of a wordy storytelling song. So.
And you're doing two?
I am. I haven't picked out my second tune though.
You're just going to do this on the fly?
I am.
So,
Yeah.
well, I guess I was going to ask you about that one, but if you don't know yet.
I haven't fully decided. So
I see you got these trophies here. Can you tell everybody a little bit about them? I sort of smudged them up, a couple fingerprints on there.
watch it there, buddy. Yeah, I joined the International Singer-Songwriter Association a couple years ago, and they have awards, and I was pleased to, I also applied to the Josie Awards and got a nomination for my Pause and Pine Album of the Year, which I didn't win, unfortunately, but I did come in, what did I get? 2022 Album of the Year. That was for Pause and Pine. And I think that's when we met, was when one of my songs from this album was on the CICC.
That would line up, yeah.
Yeah. So it's 2025 now. We haven't even known each other really that long.
No, 4 or 5 years, 6 years maybe. Max. So you've got International Emerging Artist 2023, Female Songwriter of the Year 2024, 2022 International Female Album of the Year.
Yeah, it's really nice that I'm considered international in Canada, because otherwise I would be competing against everybody in the United States.
Well, that's all right. Canada's a bit of a home for some of those people too. Like, obviously, Vince Gill.
Yeah.
The only reason he got as far as he did was because of Canada. And he's always said that he is very thankful for Canada for playing his music.
Really?
Yeah.
But he's American, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
His voice is so smooth.
There's a different sound here than there is there. It's the same East Coast, West Coast. You got North, you got South, and wherever they pick you up is, wherever your listeners are is where they are.
Right.
Luckily for us in this day and age, finding your listeners is a cell phone video away.
Isn't it?
Whereas back then, tour around, had to find some people, radio. But yeah, country music radio, Canada.
Oh, man.
And the Canadian listener is what gave Vince Gill a lot of momentum.
I could see that. Yeah. Really.
And then, of course, we've got Shania Twain, which is about as big as country music got there for a long time.
I remember when her and Alanis Morissette went head-to-head was it for Junos or something? I was like 10 years old. And we were all like, it was a nail biter. To think that the grunge beat out the country, I was just like, oh, heartbroken.
Yeah, I was probably building a fort. I wouldn't have been watching too much TV then.
Yeah.
No, well, playing in the corral or something.
Okay, so imagine being, have you ever seen the movie Coal Miner's Daughter?
I have not.
Okay, really, it's like defines my childhood a little bit. So Loretta Lynn and her husband, who is not depicted very well in the movie, they literally drive around eating bologna sandwiches and drive around to like different radio stations for months. And they have no idea that their record's like #1 or something until a radio announcer, they get thrown out for using bad language or something. And then she's crying and the radio announcer's like, we're never playing your song again. And then one of the radio administrative girls comes and encourages them and said, oh, he has to play your song because you're on the chart. And they're like, what do you mean? Anyhow, I know it's not the internet for sure, but the days were different back then when you were like literally peddling albums and taking them and handing them to people, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of that today. The true connection is always face to face.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can do a lot of stuff on video and put it out there. Again, it's all art. Do what you're comfortable with. But when it's raw and acoustic and right in front of you, uncut, no messing with it, That genuine thing will never be replaced at any point in time with any amount of technology that ever comes our way. That feel will never change. And making those connections, meeting your fans face to face, giving them the opportunity to support you, buying your merch, albums, whatever. That's all its own world. That'll always stand apart, I think.
Yeah, it's valuable.
But this is great for me because I really don't have any ambitions to get out in the crowd all that much. So being here with you and in an empty bar is kind of perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
For your introverted self.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, so like there's all sorts of things in songwriting that we can discuss, right? Like there's the living with your heart portion and not having a filter and being courageous and telling your story even though it might make you look weird or whatever. And then there's the songwriting portion and how we do that process unfolds. And is it lyrics? Is it melody? I get that question a lot. And then there's the recording process, getting into the studio, and how fun is that? And some people hate it. Like I know some people that are way more talented than me, but they won't go in the studio. They won't, like refuse. Like I've offered a collaboration or whatever, and they won't go in the studio, which is really too bad. Then when you're done the studio, then there's the edits and that process of watching a song build up and then peel it back and get it just perfect, how you like it. Then promoting it and coming up with album artwork, or if you're going to do a single, and which avenues are you going to release it, and who's going to hear it, and how are you going to get people to listen to it? There's that.
Yeah, and I just lawn chair or a couch, play a few tunes. At the end of the day, that's good enough for me. It can end right there, but it's starting to get a little out of hand here, especially since I've met you, and you are big for the town here as far as hosting songwriter circles and shows and the like. So it's a bit inspiring, starting to gain a bit more momentum. I've got a couple of songs out there, but as time passes, it's kind of hard not to go a little harder. And
yeah, like it's funny how time trickles away one day at a time, and then all of a sudden you haven't written a new song in 4 months or whatever, right?
Yeah, I'm more of a write the lyrics, stumble through the guitar, forget about it for 2.5 years, dig it back out.
So terrible.
Half write it again.
And like when you open your mouth and sing, I'm instantly like, what is it, hyper focused. You couldn't get me to focus on anything else. Like that's how captivating you are.
I appreciate that. One day when I take something past halfway, I'll let you know and we'll finish it up.
Yeah.
But for now, it's just campfire music.
Yeah. Well,
not that campfire music is at all in any way to be slighted. If anything, it is one of the most paramount forms of music is sitting around the campfire, one guitar and a guy singing. That's forever tough to beat. You can put as much money as you want behind an album, but you're never going to beat that. You can try as hard as you want. You can make all the videos you want. You can get all the sound mixed, mastered, down to zeros and ones, but a nice night, a good campfire, and the right song, it'll forever be irreplaceable in my mind. Forever.
Well, I'll agree to disagree with you on that.
Well, we're going to disagree pretty hard because I'm right. Yeah, you're not going to change my mind.
Okay, I don't like my hair getting full of smoke, and I don't like dealing with mosquitoes.
All right,
So
well, I can
like,
appreciate that.
Yeah.
We'll throw some green stuff on the fire. Keep the mosquitoes away for you. Well, it's not going to help your hair for nothing.
I know. But anyhow, I do know what you mean, like the authentic, like I was talking to a songwriter at the last fiddle camp I went to, a really great guy out of the States. And he said, just keep singing your songs, keep presenting your songs, keep playing out, and people will listen, especially when you're live, right? And I think it's the little comments that people make after a show that keep me going. That they come up and say, I wasn't expecting that. You sounded whatever, right? Or I had one lady say, there's beauty and there's talent all over the place, but there's a lot of shallow versions of that, and I don't need to worry about that. And I just stuck that in my back pocket. And she said, you are authentic, and that's hard to come by. And I was like, that's the only compliment I need all year. You know, like it really, whenever I kind of doubt myself a little bit sometimes, I remember that. And it was magical. Like I got to write a song about it. It was a dark night, but it was warm. It was like 11:30. We were standing under a street light at the Blueberry Bluegrass Music Festival, which you should totally come to, August long weekend. And she just looked at me and just spoke, like, it was quick, like 2 sentences. And it changed my demeanor going forward.
Those connections are pretty important to me. And it's been fun to watch it. Like, I mean, learning is always a bit gradual. And maybe you don't notice it, but like your vocals and guitar playing keep growing and getting better, and then you decide to go from right hand to left hand, which made no sense to me because it was like, you're doing great.
It's a huge conversation, but yeah. The reason I know it's the right thing, I figured it out why, isn't because I'm going to be better at it. It's because I can play longer and I actually enjoy it. And so the longer you play, the better you'll get. And so I was trying to practice right-handed, and like I would put the timer on, and like 20, 22 minutes, 23 minutes, it was like 25 minutes. And all I'm doing is playing songs. I'm not doing skills. I'm not doing scales or runs or anything. And it was hard to discipline myself to actually try and play the guitar for more time. Like the more time you spend with your instrument, whether you're playing or whether you're plucking or whatever, the more time you spend on your instrument, the more intimate it becomes and the more familiar you are with it, and you can figure out what sounds you can get out of it and blah, blah, blah. And if you don't want to spend time on your instrument, then guess what? You're not going to spend time on your instrument, right? And so it's the same thing with when I started fiddle 9 years ago. I said, I need this kind of fiddle and this look, and it's going to hang on my wall. And they're like, well, what about the sound? Isn't that important to you? And I was like, well, you know, not as much as the look. Like, I don't want to be seen as vain, but like, you need to want to hold your instrument. And if you have a beautifully sounding instrument, but you think it's ugly, then it's no good for anybody. So yeah, I like to motivate myself. And yeah.
Was left hand a comfort thing, or was it just you needed something new?
Well, you know, I've kind of tried to psychoanalyze myself on that a little bit. I think my finger picking as a folk artist is great. And as a solo performer, which is what I have been all these years, it's great. It's where I want to be. I don't mind where I was at, but I feel like I want to take the next step into a new world. And I've been going to this bluegrass jam camps through the Northern Bluegrass Music Society. And, you know, they have these showcase nights where you can get on stage. You can form a band. You can hand pick people, just invite them to come play with you. And you get up and do a song. And it's just an exhilarating feeling when you have competent people that are voluntarily being there. You're not like compelling them to be there, and they like your songs. They're inspired to play them. And you get on stage, and I got a fiddle, professional upright bass, super professional bluegrass lead guitar player, and then I'm finger picking. It doesn't make sense. You need to be able to do a rhythm guitar. And so I was trying to do rhythm guitar, and it was like pretty scratchy, and it just didn't feel good, and it didn't sound even. And I was like, how could I not, after 17 years playing guitar, how could I not know how to do a rhythm, basic boom, chuck, boom, chuck. So last April 2024, I started a consultation with this lady that I met at the Blueberry. She's super generous, and she's like, I'll help you. And so we did a couple phone calls, and then I would take videos and send them to her on, you know, private YouTube videos. 3 minutes. Here's what I've been practicing. So far I've practiced 300 minutes. And she'd say, okay, you're practicing wrong. Do it this way. And, you know, kind of correct me. I did like a strumming boot camp, for heaven's sakes. Most people don't need that, which is, I'm not like most people. I can't be hard on myself. I need to be okay with being who I am. So I'm just going to have to try harder. And so that's what I did. And then what did it yield? It didn't yield great results. I think I improved, but I was playing a song right-handed for Pal at the Songwriter Circle in March. Mm-hmm. And it's the last Thursday of every month from September to April. So I just stopped playing halfway through my song. There was only 4 of us there. And my buddy Paul looks at me. He's like, what? And I said, I don't even want to do this. I can't even, my arm doesn't want to do it. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I said, well, I don't strum. I only finger pick. And I was going this way. And I don't strum. My arm doesn't want to do it. I'm left-handed and I just don't want to, and so he's like, well, you should just quit. Yeah. And I was like, what do you mean? I'm not a quitter. He's like, just quit, go left-handed. He says, 2 months from now, you'll actually enjoy it. And within 12 months, you'll be at the same skill level, I guarantee you. And that's like all I needed. It was like hearing the bell and the horses are gone. And so it took me 2 to 3 weeks to get, I figured I needed to get a symmetrical guitar and restring it just as a test. And I did that. And within 3 weeks, I was hooked.
Good.
And I could practice 2 hours a day. Like I started logging it on a little calendar, of course, because I'm curious, like how effective could I be if I tried, you know? And like my guitar player, he says he practices 2 hours every morning, sometimes more.
Holy.
It's like, he's phenomenal for a reason. He's not talented. He puts
I guess
the
that's
time
what
in.
It takes.
Yeah. I don't know how many times people say, oh, they're so talented. And it's like, oh no, they're so dedicated.
That's fair.
So I also know, like they say, what is it, 10,000 hours to be competent on an instrument or something?
I have no idea.
Well, this is what my father told me. So I thought about that and I thought, well, I'm going to start logging my hours. And so for my 50-hour reward, I bought myself a nice plug-inable left-handed guitar. And I didn't bring it today. I'm going to save it for a few more months. But I can do a rhythm guitar now, no problem. My chords, I did a C chord. And I naturally went there yesterday and I was like, I got my muscle memory. And I've only been practicing. I started on April 23rd.
That's pretty cool, you know.
Yeah, 6 weeks maybe.
Learning how to switch hands, playing guitar. Like I grabbed your guitar the other day and I was like, this is weird and bizarre. I don't know why anybody would need to switch the other way, but if you only have, well, that's the thing is I know a lot of guys that they're right-handed because that's all that they had. You know, there wasn't a left-handed guitar and they weren't restringing it and what have you. And they just learned with what they got.
I know. And I could have done that, but I would have stayed mediocre forever is essentially. And I feel like I've had to reinvent myself throughout my life a few times. Like I've kind of gone through traumas at different stages in my life. And a lot of them that I think were of the caliber that would hold you back forever. And I've effectively recovered from multiple things. And so I got this little feather in my cap saying, I can do this. And if I do it and I lose a year of my life and then I switch back to being right-handed, whatever. But
fair enough.
I thought, you know, I'm 17 years in, but I'm still on the young side of things. I think I can be a better guitar player than what I am if I put the time in.
It's nice to have something to work towards, that's for sure.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? And there is a sliver of me that thinks maybe I just wanted something new.
Yeah, maybe. Can you imagine what your life would be like without songwriting?
I wrote a song about that.
Oh, did you?
I did.
See, yeah, there you go.
Where would I be without music? And the chorus, or is it the verse? Where would I be without music? Lost on the streets without love. I thank my Lord for the music. it's given to me from above or something. Because I feel like I have to try and write some songs, but most of the, I'm going to say at least 50% of the time, it's literally a heavenly download. I feel like in a very whimsical, artistic breath, I want to say that all the songs are already written, and God took a dandelion, you know, when it had all the seeds on it, and went, and then as songwriters, we need to just catch them in the wind. But that's like the artistic, whimsical part of me. So pretty.
Yeah, it certainly isn't blowing dandelion fluff at me, that's for sure.
Come on. What about your Farmer's Tan song?
Yeah, well, that was after like 12, 14-hour day, was hardly even awake, more chucked a stick.
Really? And that's it just...
Yeah, I just sat down and wrote it.
That's great.
And it was like,
that's great. He did a great video on that too.
Early morning. You know, that was one of those things like you were talking about. I think I had all the lyrics wrote and the chords for it in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And that, of course, was the one that
sounds like a
made it on the radio.
Dandelion to me, right?
Yeah, sure.
Where did it get played on the radio?
CKUA picked it up.
Oh, they did. Any viewership in the States, do you know?
I have no idea. I went through all of the figuring it out of how to release stuff, and by the time I was done, I just was back to recording them, just single frame cell phone, stand it up and get it done just so that somebody can hear it. I mean, for the most part, all the stuff that I write is friends, family, except for those wild ones. And
is it a harvest video? Is it
it's
meant
just
for harvest or
farming in general?
You should let me send it out to my email list. I got like 750 radio stations I email to.
Well, that song, I recorded it myself, sent it to a cousin. He was supposed to do something with it. He sent me a file back. It was supposed to be rough. I said, well, if that's what he's got, that's what he's got. Turns out that he was just drinking in the studio and did some background vocals. And then I had another friend, he thumped along on the bass to it in the background a little bit. But all told, I think that one was $100 I spent.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But you know what? Having a little bit of bass in the background and a couple background vocals fills it out so nice.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't need high production, and it got played on CKUA.
Yep.
That's great.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's really good. Like, you know, I talked to different producers, and they're saying, oh, 15 to 2,500 per song, and I'm like, no, I need a what's it called, budget friendly, like, welcome Walmart shoppers.
Yeah.
A little bit, right? When I got a family, and this is a hobby for me. It's not a full-time gig or anything, right?
Well, I got lucky, and some people moved into my area. They're international artists, and I'm going to be I actually traded them beef from the farm as a down payment for studio time. And they are Western swing. They do some bluegrass. I don't know. There's so many little genres that kind of fall in. And I'm excited for that. I'm going to do one that's a little bit higher quality.
So you're going to do a single song with them?
Yeah, probably at least one, I would think.
Okay.
And just to see, like, I've seen what you can do, and it's like, wow, that's some of your players and stuff, and just the overall, it brightens it up a lot. Mm-hmm. And a lot of my tunes aren't bright to begin with, so, you know, a little fiddle, maybe a banjo or a slide in there
goes a long way.
Brighten things up a little.
Yeah.
But it's in the books. They're busy traveling the world and doing their thing, so maybe in the wintertime we'll get together, give it a go.
What a great opportunity.
I hope so.
Yeah. You know, you can spend as little or as much money as you want in this business. And it's all, I guess you got to ask yourself the question, how do you define success? in the music industry, and I don't see it as a financial thing. I feel like it's like a heart thing. How much reward do you feel and fulfillment, right?
Well, there is always that dream where you get really, really lucky and then you don't have to go to work. That would be nice. It'd be nice to figure that out one day. That would be real something, let me tell you.
I have one song that keeps paying me, and I've been getting these quarterly payments, and they're not lots, but when you add it all up, I'm like, wow, that song's netted me almost $2,000. And so I got a payment of like $360 US 6 weeks ago. And then last week I got a payment of 88 Canadian. So it was like, yeah, anyhow. So that was all streaming. And I can't figure out where it's, other than I know what song it is. I don't know. Some streams are worth like 70 cents. Some streams are like less than 1 penny. And then some streams are worth like $14.
I have no idea. You were talking to the wrong guy.
I know. It's just mystery though, right?
Yeah, I'm sure somebody out there.
I've talked to a few people. Maybe if anybody that watches this, feel free to comment on YouTube. And I need help with analytics and figuring out where. And that song, my girlfriend said, "Well, what's different about that song?" And I said, "You know, the only thing that's really different is that it wasn't a heavenly download. It took some work, and I took quite a bit of criticism over it. And my dad kept telling me like, 'You're so feminine. How come everything has to have romance in it?' And so I kind of took it as a challenge, because I had written a stack of like romantic songs in the previous few months. And so I thought, he's right, you know, can I not express myself more like a man would? So I put on my manly songwriting hat, and I tried to write the song from a perspective of a man. And I ended up doing 3 rewrites on it before it finally settled in. And I tried to like convey emotion without using words, but using actions. And I did a pretty cool music video for it too, during a full moon, nighttime filming. Like it was like, it actually was a really fun project, but I don't have the viewership on YouTube to justify that money. So someone picked it up somewhere. And like the first payment I got was $500, and it said radio airplay England. And that's the only description you get.
Yeah,
vague,
speaking
so
of
vague, right?
Over the ocean, I was on some random podcast in Wales.
Wales and the Netherlands,
people that
they love country music.
I have absolutely nothing to do with. And like, same thing, like I'm putting them on the internet and sharing them with friends and family. Yeah. But it's public. And then all of a sudden, who are you?
Someone
yeah, sure. All right, let's talk. And it's some 3 farmers from Wales wanted to.
And was it Farmers 10?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
So yeah, it's funny.
Farmers appreciate farmers. Doesn't matter where you are in the world.
Yeah. And again, social media. I can't really talk about the song, but I was in the newspaper in the States for a certain song I wrote.
Yeah.
In Ohio.
About ice fishermen and
we'll just make sure that we can keep it, use this stuff. But yeah, it was about ice fishing in Hudson, Ohio, and what was going on there with their local government. And a reporter reached out to me, and then all of a sudden it got so out of hand that the mayor resigned over all of the blowback from what he had to say about certain things.
So where did you see the newspaper article that inspired the song?
I can't even remember. It was just, this is so offhand and strange that
that's hilarious.
I had a few beers to write a song, so I did, and I just happened to be in one of those moods where I put an iPhone up and recorded it.
Oh, okay.
And so
it's on your YouTube channel?
No, that one is not public at the moment.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's it's a little rough topic-wise. It's very, very catchy, obviously.
Controversial, yeah.
I think it was the Cleveland Chronicle that...
So we can Google Cleveland Chronicle and Justin Swanson, and maybe it'll pop up. We'll find.
Maybe I have.
It up on,
might. I'm not. Pretty sure it was the Chronicle. You can try if you want. If you really want to know.
Yeah.
Then just comment on this video, and you can let me know, and I'll send them a private link, and they can listen to it.
Yeah.
But
again, that's funny. I do love how real life inspires art. Like, it's a beautiful process.
Yeah, it's fun. Very fun.
Well, should we sing some songs?
We can definitely sing a couple of songs, I think, now.
All right, let's do it.
All right. If you're ever in rock bottom, head down Record Low Lane. The sun didn't rise today, them clouds are rolling in. Hailstones are pounding off my old roof of tin. There's a draft from every window and the curtains all are torn. My floorboards are rotten and the TV was stolen. Refrigerator quit when I got home with my beer. Oh Lord, how I'm praying that you'll get me out of here. I know it's not forever, but it's been way too darn long, and my bones are getting tired from being all alone. If you're ever in rock bottom, head down Record Low Lane. Find that old worn down house with the broken iron gate. The front door is open, its hinges well worn. I hope that I can get away, for it becomes my home. You're welcome anytime you find yourself around here. I could use the company as the storm is drawing near. The whole place is a-leaning. I used a pole to stop its fall, but all my favorite pictures broke, falling off the wall. If you're ever in rock bottom, head down Record Low Lane. Find that old worn down house with the broken iron gate. The front door is open, I got a fire stoked. I'm a-burning all my sorrow so them flames are never low. Well, that sky finally opened and the sun shines for me. I found some luck and hitched a ride the heck out of here. With that old house in the mirror, I'll gladly say goodbye, even though that I know I'll be back again sometime. If you're ever in rock bottom, head down Record Low Lane. Find that old worn down house with the broken iron gate. There's empty bottles for money, cans of beans upon the shelf, and whatever else you find you can keep for yourself. If you're ever in rock bottom, head down Record Low Lane. Alright, so we're gonna try the working song from the mine, I guess, now. Well, I can't wait to see my baby and the other side of me. Get some of her good lovin' and cut my demon free. I've been working in a northwest mine, breaking rock, biding my time until I see my baby and the other side of me. Boss man wants all that money, but don't want to do no work. He's a breaking all our backs and fills his wallet first. The whole crew's been a-talking, all them paychecks come up light. So we're kicking in his bunkhouse door in the middle of the night. And I can't wait to see my baby and the other side of me. Get some of her good lovin' and cut my demon free. I've been working in a northwest mine, breaking rock, biding my time until I see my baby and the other side of me. We drug him to the gravel pit and showed him his own grave. He ran back up the mountain and in gold we all got paid. He hasn't missed a penny now and going on 2 years. And every Friday night, you know, he's buying every beer. And I can't wait to see my baby and the other side of me. Get some of her good loving and cut my demon free. I've been working in a northwest mine, breaking rock, biding my time until I see my baby and the other side of me. Set my boots on fire, threw my hard hat down the shaft. Can't believe I'm leaving all of that work in the past. Now she gets all of my good loving, made the better man you see, and she lives out on the prairie with the other side of me.
All right, well, here's Days Gone By that I co-wrote with my father-in-law. Back in the day when our paws forked hay, we all lived by a moral code. Down a dirt road, great neighbors and friends, shaking hands time and again. Well, we'd all come around to help break ground or relocate a barn or two. Rural population pulling together wouldn't work without me and you. Oh, the days gone by. Handshakes used to mean something, now we all just high-five and work alone. We're not side by side, depending on each other. When I pass someone on the road, not everybody waves. There's dust on the knob at the community hall. Families seem to scatter like the wind. It used to be the hub and the kids would run and play, but now the city's drawing them in. There used to be a time when we all had a dime to share over coffee or tea. Who are we working for and what's it all about when there's no time for you or for me? Oh, the days gone by. Handshakes used to mean something, now we all just high-five and work alone. We're not side by side, depending on each other. When I pass someone on the road, not everybody waves. Now the school's no more like the cafe in the store, just a post office box by the road. Most hit the trail when the pay got frail, just a few left carrying the load. A quarter or two was once enough to do, but it won't pay the bills anymore. We need sections by the dozen and the tractor's always humming, so the banker don't come banging at the door. Oh, the days gone by. Handshakes used to mean something, now we all just high-five and work alone. We're not side by side, depending on each other. When I pass someone on the road, not everybody waits. I'm gonna do a simple song in the spirit of the KISS method. If anyone's ever heard that, keep it simple, stupid is essentially the method. And so I wrote this song kind of as what I thought was a kid's song, but it turned out to be really nice. And then my producer was like, I think you're wrong. That's not a kid's song. And he souped it up, and my fiddle player wanted in on it, even though I hadn't slated her to be playing on it, but she was like compelled. So I was like, do what you artistically, whatever you feel. And her fiddle playing, you could feel the birds like floating through the air. So what happened was I was driving, and a bunch of little birds half of them went over my vehicle and half of them went under, and I couldn't even hit the brakes, and it was over. And I just gasped and looked in my rear view, and there was no dead birds on the ground because I wasn't going that fast on a dirt road. And it was over before it started, but it was so beautiful. And so I went in the house and wrote this song in probably 12 minutes or something. Hello, little bird, You tweeted and I heard, a picnic in the park just south of the trees, children throwing crumbs all for you and me. Hello, little bird, you take this scenic route to your perch. As I go my way, I shed a tear and cry. It's more than I can bear, such grace across the sky. Hello, little bird, I see you, little bird, Ooh, 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 oh. Hello, little bird, you're swooping through the air undeterred. As I go my way, I shed a tear and cry. It's more than I can bear, such grace across the sky. Hello, little bird, you're a gift to me, I am sure. I pull off beside the road to stay with you a while. Do you know I'm here? Can you feel me smile? Hello, little bird, I see you, little bird, I love you, little bird, hello, little bird, Well, that was some really great music. You're a pretty swell guy, Justin.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Right on. Well, folks, you just met Justin Swanson, one of my favorite songwriters, and Justin's going to be behind the camera for the duration of season 1. So thank you very much for coming on the program, and thanks for helping me with all the production side of this.
Thank me when it's done.
Yeah, you betcha.